This is OC, third item on the docket for today is OC 25-011 or 11. An application has been filed requesting a conditional use permit for an owner-occupied short-term rental property located at 6620 Bohannon Lane in LaGrange.
Yeah. All right. So I've been called in to be the relief pitcher because they had to leave to go to the luncheon. So here I am. So pardon with me, this will be the first time I've seen this presentation, although not the first time I've seen the staff report. So hopefully I can make sense of this. So this is a, same thing as we just heard, a conditional use permit for an owner-occupied short-term rental located at 6620 Bohannon Lane. Property is in AG1 zoning, sits on 5.616 acres. I think the applicant may be prepared to talk about this because I know there was some discrepancy between maybe some people that called about the size of the property, even though I really don't know what that matters for the short-term rental part, but they may be ready to address that comment, the applicant. A little bit of the site history. On April 5th, 2024, Oldham County Code Enforcement issued a notice of violation for the advertising and rental of this short-term rental property without a proper permit, as well as unpermitted upgrades. As we looked at the pictures, there was a lot of work done to a barn to convert some spaces into living space that I think had gone unpermitted. They were directed to contact our office, and they did comply with this directive and have been in contact with the office ever since. In January of this year, a building permit was issued for those upgrades that had been performed. And since then, a certificate of occupancy has been issued for all of those spaces. As far as the case history goes, the agenda was posted to our website back at the end of February. Adjoining property owner notices were mailed out in early March, and the public notice did appear in the Oldham Era on the 13th of March. So this is the property in question on Bohannon Lane. Zoned AG1. So the applicant's requesting a conditional use of this property, and same as we hear in almost all of our conditional use, the definition states what the owner occupied is, and I think we just harped on that a little bit on the last case, so I'm not going to read that verbatim to you. Does require that the conditional use permit is requested from the Board of Adjustments for the owner occupied short-term rental in the agricultural zoning area. If granted the CUP, as with all of our other cases, the applicant does have to comply with all the operating requirements and guidelines that are outlined in our short-term rental regulation. As far as looking at the bedrooms on this, the short-term rental has a total of 5 bedrooms. So there's a main house that they have 3 bedrooms in and 2 in the barn. So the maximum occupancy on that property will be 14 based off of our calculation and our regulations. There's 5 bedrooms. That gives us 10 plus an additional 4. I believe in your staff packet, the applicant does have a document where they agree to no more than 14 occupants on the property. And as well as parking, we take that maximum occupancy, divide that number by 2.5. So they're required to have 6 parking spots on the property. And as you can see from the pictures, pretty big piece of land, a lot of parking area for them to be able to get those cars in there. Here's a couple diagrams. I do think you have these in your staff packet as well, showing the 3 bedrooms in the main house. And then in the barn, there are 2 bedrooms. Picture of the property, once again, a lot of area for parking, big driveway area. So no issues with parking. There wouldn't be any issues with anybody parking on any sort of neighboring property. A lot of land, a lot of parking space there for the occupants. This document just shows you where the AG1, it does require the conditional use permit based on our regulations. And so that proposed short-term rental for the 2 structures on the 1 lot, a maximum occupancy of 14 individuals, and the 6 parking spaces, which they would have to comply with. The potential conditions of approval, this permit shall only apply to the application considered here today at the March 20th, 2025 Board of Adjustments public hearing. The applicant must comply with all regulations of the short-term rental policy at section 250-050. The conditional use permit shall be automatically revoked upon transfer or sale of the property, and the applicant must apply for and be issued a short-term rental property permit and license before renting the property. I think that's all I've got for you.
Go back to the, right there. Oh, stop. Tate, look at that. And so here is when there is an owner-occupied, a conditional use is required, that second column, and the non-owner occupied when it is not permitted even as a conditional use. So you can see there is a case where a non-owner occupied is permitted in the O1, O2, CN, C1, C2. Those are permitted uses as a non-owner occupied. So a minute ago when we said, here's a couple lines of owner occupied, here's one that has non-owner occupied, it is permitted given the zoning classification. Thank you. All right, any questions for Ryan? Thanks, Ryan.
I will say real quick, and I'll say this just so the applicant can address this, and I know this has been communication between Sandy and the applicant. So once again, there's been some question on residency on this. In your staff packet, Sandy did provide the Secretary of State's page for this business entity, which does show an address of Cambridge Drive in Crestwood. I do know that they were looking at maybe getting that changed to reflect that this is the primary residence. So I'll just bring that up so that hopefully the applicant addresses this, as well as any questions that you all might have revolving around any sort of residency. So,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
If we can have the applicant come forward, please. Morning.
Good morning.
Let's get you sworn in. Oh, okay. Thank you.
That's okay. My name is Chelsea Bramall. I'm at 401 West Jefferson Street in LaGrange.
Okay.
I represent Quality Real Estate, and the member there is Bob Downs. Uh-oh. Let's see it. Okay, here we go. No, don't do that. That's not right. Which one? Is it that one? Okay. You just saw a map. Mr. Downs, Quality Real Estate has owned this property for now about 15 years. So the backstory on it is it was used as a long-term rental. Okay, very good. A long-term rental. He had regular tenants in there, and at some point there was a lapse. Tenants moved out, and so it was posted on Airbnb without knowledge of the rules. So that's what originated with when it became advised that that was not permitted without the requisite permitting through the county. It was brought down, and then the relocation to the address happened. So then they pivoted and moved out there. So this is an application for both units, the main one being this barn, which now has 2 bedrooms, and that is the request for the permit for that structure. We believe it comes into compliance with all the other regulations. The parking shouldn't be an issue. It's a pretty rural area. Quality Real Estate owns the adjacent tract as well, so there's a good buffer zone to the back, and then there's a huge undeveloped parcel immediately adjacent, so there aren't any structures sort of this direction either. Here are your standards, like you have been advised already today. So the Board of Adjustment shall find the proposed use to be essential or desirable to the community and not in conflict with the elements and objectives of the comprehensive plan. We've got the land use in an A1 is encouraged to preserve wildlife. In this situation, there's not a lot of farming here, but there is some undeveloped land, some kind of woods are in the area. And what is this to preserve that Oldham County's rural character? It also, not to be remiss, but the plan also includes a lot of data about Oldham County tourism. And so for every dollar that the county spends, it gets on average of $440 back. So this is a free and revenue-making way to also promote the tourism in the county. So this is just pulled from the data supporting your comprehensive plan. We think this is a good way to sort of, provide another means of attracting tourists to the area. It's sort of a low risk, low development kind of way to include another option for bringing people in on a small scale with preserving the community and preserving the land. I think that's about all we have. I'll go back to this. I have Mr. Downs here. He can be sworn in and answer any other questions for you.
Do you wish to speak for any reason or just answer questions? Yeah. Board, do we need to get them sworn in? Do we have any questions for?
I have questions.
Okay, let's go ahead and get you sworn in.
Do you have the change of address for the LLC that when that relocation happened? If you all would like to see that, we can tender it as evidence.
Okay.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Name and address.
Robert Downs, 6620 Bohannon Lane, LaGrange, Kentucky, 40031.
Okay. Okay, board, questions for either Chelsea or Robert?
Yeah, Mr. Downs, what is the status of your former 7512 Cambridge Drive address?
Still owned by my wife and I. Just us.
And who is living there right now?
My wife and children.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, so just so I'm clear, we've got the primary resident on 6620 Bohannon Lane. You've got a primary residence and you've got two barns and you're looking to rent out both barns. Are you looking to rent out the primary resident?
No, only maybe on a occasion, as you mentioned, maybe Derby or the Ironman or something like that. This is a situation where I've got two children in college, would like to make a little extra money on this property. So it's definitely a short-term situation and just on occasion. It's not something that, I know the intent of the regulation, being familiar with real estate and owning properties. The intent, I'm sure, of you all or whoever proposed the regulation was so large out-of-town corporations don't come in, buy these properties, they're off-site, hard to get a hold of, and then that eventually drives up the cost of housing for people that want to live in Oldham County and recreate in Oldham County and work in Oldham County, but this is obviously not a situation. I've lived in Oldham County for 16 years, owned this property for 11 years. So it's definitely not that situation that you all are trying to prevent.
Okay.
I think so.
And when renting the property, you'll be available for any immediate assistance needed by?
Absolutely, yeah. I have two properties that on the rare occasion that maybe the whole property is rented, that I have a property 18 miles away, have a condo 21 miles away in eastern Jefferson County, and then in the extremely rare situation, my son, who's involved in real estate and has his own short-term rentals in Jeffersonville, Indiana, is 21 miles away. So we have a definite plan to address any issues if they ever came up.
So I just want to correct a misunderstanding, something you just said in terms of the intent of the regulations. I think what drove a lot of the change in rules for owner-occupied was that in addition to out-of-state or out-of-country even buyers of properties turning residences into essentially hotels or Airbnbs, neighbors were objecting to their home next door turning into a party house.
Yeah.
And so it was in addition to having somebody to keep an eye on it, but it was also the changing the character of the neighborhood really to a commercial type of use for a residential property. So that was a big part of it, and that's what we're trying to prevent, is that a home in a residential or agricultural community turns into a party house or turns into a commercial property that's regularly rented all the time. And so the intent is where somebody lives in or near the property, they're able to make sure it doesn't turn into a party house because they'll be there to police that. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
Quality Real Estate is the applicant. Is that correct? Quality,
Yes, that's the owner of
What
the
is-
property.
that's the owner of the property.
Yeah. I'm Robert
Okay.
H. Downs, sole member.
Okay, all right, very, thank you, that answered it. Any other questions?
So you will be living there. So you will be living on site while other people are renting for the
Yes.
short-term rentals. I just confirming that.
And is that included in the number of bedrooms that are being sought out today? Like the number of occupants? Does that basically does that exclude the bedroom you would need to be on site?
I
Which
wasn't
is-
asked to do that, but there's just basically saying what's available. That's what they asked.
So you're asking about 14 people?
Yeah, should it be 12 instead?
So what does the 14 people comprise of? Is that the two barns?
I think it's
Two
just one.
bedrooms in the barn, the ADU, and then 3 in the house.
Okay,
He has a misunderstanding. The barn that you see in the middle is not part of this project. That doesn't
Okay.
have sleeping quarters.
All right,
That's
so just the one
a
barn.
building. Yes.
okay.
Just the barn. And from my understanding, and he can correct me, I don't think there's any interest in bringing people in and him still being in the main house. So the intention, if that's rented, then he would be off-site, staying in the area or calling in help from an assistant from his son.
No, it's not. So just for clarification, just crystal clear, the intent, this is your primary resident.
Yes.
You've got the barn that you plan on renting out as an STRP. The intent is to rent that barn as an STRP when you're living on the primary resident. There are occasions, Derby, Ironman, you said, those two you picked out, that you might not also be at the primary resident, that you're going to rent, STRP, both houses, living quarters, at which time you're up to 14 people. But even during those times, you just listed yourself as being, you just said that you'll be close by, right? You might
Let's say I
be,
have 2 properties within, I said 18 miles and 19 miles.
so you're still going to be managing these properties when they're rented.
Absolutely.
There are times, and you mentioned, I think, 3 different people within a 25-mile radius, one of which was your son, who you said also has property, and he's 18 miles away. On the rare occasion that I'll be gone, I've at least got, and then you mentioned 3 different property managers that can manage this.
Yeah, I'm 2 of them. My son's the other one who's 21 miles away. Yes, correct.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a question. Do you have an application in process right now with the Secretary of State to change the address for Quality Real Estate from the Cambridge Drive to the
Yeah.
Do we want to, here, I'll tell you what, if you can put it on the overhead there, just so the rest of the board can see it, and then we'll give it to Christie. Yeah, magically. Jay, there you go.
There it is.
There it is.
Good, thank you.
Okay, any other questions for the applicant?
Do you monitor the site for security purposes, like video, sound?
Yeah, it's all set up for that, but I'm going to put the sound things, just kind of waiting to see if I got, obviously approved, but my son has a short-term rental in Jeffersonville, Indiana in a neighborhood, and, you've got neighbors all around, and he has these sound monitors that, if it goes above a certain decibel, you're alerted right on your phone, and it works great. And he's been doing that for now, 18 months, and I think he's only had one complaint that and I think that was because the battery ran out or some issue with the particular decibel levels.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of the application? Opposed to the application? John or Ryan, did we get any letters or correspondence in favor or opposed?
Sandy just told me in passing today, because like I said, I haven't been involved in this case, was that there was just some phone calls addressing residency as well as the surrounding property, the fear that if people come to rent this and hunt, that those people may wander onto other people's property. And I know we've had that in other cases. Once again, they can't do a whole lot to prevent, but to be able to have that in the house rules, to be able to put signs up where the property line actually ends, if that is truly the intent of the applicant to rent this to people that would hunt on the property.
Okay.
Those are the only phone calls, though. There was no written correspondence.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Oh.
Board, there was nobody wishing to speak in favor or opposed to the application. Any questions for anybody else in the audience? I guess, David, was it Robert? I'm sorry. Robert, could you come forward, please? Is it your intent to rent this out as a hunting facility?
No, not at all. The neighbor, the Cornets, I guess if you're looking at it, the right, top left, you see those structures right there. So yeah, Doug and Janet, they called me, and I'm not sure what information they got. If you remember that whole case with this thing out on Rebel Ridge, a hunting thing, and he asked me about a hunting club. And I was like, no, there's no hunting club. There's no.
All right, so it's not your intent. That's not the purpose of this thing.
Absolutely not. There will be no hunting going on.
Okay, thank you. That's all. Board, questions for anybody else?
I had a small question. Would the applicant be opposed to putting up no hunting signs, just so they don't wander off on other people's property?
Right, yeah, if we need, that's right. Speaking to the mic.
Absolutely. There's already a few of those up, but we can put more of those.
Okay, thank you. Board, anything else? Ryan, you got anything?
I just, once again, want to get on the record to say this, because this causes our office a lot of issues. So in determining residency, okay, and my only thing is I sit over there and I listen to this story. I mean, it's red flags are popping off, like, between it owned in a real estate company's name. The two documents that have been provided in your staff packet, the LG&E bill for service on the property has Robert Downs and Rebecca Downs, 7512 Cambridge Drive. The Stockyards Bank one says a checking account has been opened solely with the address of the Bohannon Lane, but it's just a checking account. It's a letter from the bank. No license, no formal ID, no voting registration card, which once again, our restrictions don't say which two you have to provide, but that right there it throws a lot of red flags. There's multiple properties he's already stated that he owns in the area between him and his son. For all intents and purposes, the only thing I'm getting, and I'm not, once again, it just makes our job in the office, once this gets issued, very difficult when we have questions that get brought up. So I just want to state it on the record again.
What were the two that you got?
Well, the two that are in your packet are an LG&E bill or a verification of service, which is simply LG&E's verifying that there's service on the property, but the name and address on the letter is to Mr. and Mrs. Downs on Cambridge Drive.
All right.
In Crestwood. And then the other one is just simply a letter from Stockyards Bank.
All right, those are the only two that you got.
Those are the only, once again, I haven't handled this case, but those are the two that are in your packet that were provided with the short-term rental application. So I just want to get it on record to state. So when and if this ever comes up, I just want to be, hopefully Christie writes that in there, that I've made this.
So is there anything
concern.
we should do to tighten those regulations?
Well, I mean, there's a lot we could do to change the we could put in there specifically two different documents, but changing any of our regulations are not the easiest process in the world, so.
Guys, I don't, thanks for calling that out. The Stockyard Bank one does have Robert Downs at the address. The other one, the LG&E, you're right. I do not consider that as a proof of residency.
Yeah.
That's proof of starting of a service. That has absolutely nothing to do with a residency.
Which is my problem with the utility bills, is because I can own a property, all of my rental properties, those bills may be on that address, but that doesn't prove that I'm living in that house 6 months out of the year. And for us to be able to prove that when and if this ever gets a call on it to say, hey, look, these people don't live in this house. I don't know if they do or not. Right. And I'm not going to go camp out outside for 6 months and, in the woods to see. But it just makes our job very difficult when issues come about. So
Can you make some administrative rules or administrative regulations on which documents, the characterization of the documents that are appropriate?
I mean, I think that's a legal question, because the way it's written in the ordinance that was passed is that it's any of those two.
Robert, can you come forward again, please? Can you provide any other proof of residency?
Well, I've got the water set in my name.
Is it have you showing you as that address?
Yes, Robert Downs. Of course, they don't mail the bills. I mean, you can verify that. I said I need proof of this. If you try to go change your residency with getting those documents, a utility bill is what they ask for, and a water company would satisfy an LG&E. I actually got my concealed carry license changed to 6620 Bohannon Lane. I don't know what else to tell you.
Well, I think that one might, why is it difficult? So I guess, Tate, I'm going to turn to you to help with this. I think the carry license is proof of residency, I think.
Yeah, I think it's used to vote. Like you can,
Driver's license?
No, I don't have that. I don't know if you have any experience with trying to get a driver's license now, but have you all had any experience?
Yes.
Okay, you cannot get an appointment. And the closest ones, walk-ins are welcome. It's like they said, it's 4 to 5 hours. So,
but you do have the concealed carry. Could you show that to us?
Well, it was filed right there, and it hasn't come. I did it like 3 weeks ago.
Are you saying you don't have a driver's license at all?
No, I do have a driver's license.
With this address? With this, you tried to get it changed.
That's right.
Your current license is showing you came.
Yeah, and it's nearly impossible. It's not like it used to be. No, you have to go through.
It's a misdemeanor not to change your license.
You have to go to the Kentucky State Police office.
You have to go and get your registration changed and show them. Otherwise, if you're not living at the address that's on that license, you get stopped, you're going to get shot.
Well, Mr. Forco, you could maybe speak to how easy it is to get a license right now, but
No, I'm not
attempts have
taking
been
personal
made.
testimony from board members.
So I have another question. Have you filed your 2024 tax return yet?
No.
You have a passport?
Yes, I have a No, I've actually applied for a passport. Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
It's expired.
I
You didn't
I need two valid proof of residency, and I'm not.
Well, it says the bank account, sir, and the, utility bill, which the LG&E clearly says is in the name of Robert Downs. If I have to say, like, the intent of this regulation, again, I'm living on the property, it's not in a neighborhood. There's all these regulations related to, it's not going to be a party house. There's no neighborly objection to this property. You can see it's a 30-acre property. This tract that's in the middle of it's 5.5 acres. So I would think that it meets the requirements that y'all set forth in the regulation.
Any other questions for Robert?
Yes, I have a question. So you say you're presently living there now?
Yes, I've lived there.
How often are you there? That may sound like a rhetorical question, but how often are you there?
Pretty regularly. This past month, I've been moving things out there, yes. And changing the documents.
Did he recently buy this property?
Do what?
Did he recently buy this?
Did you recently buy this property?
No, sir, we've owned it for Quality Real Estate, 6620 Bohannon Lane, the property in question. Quality Real Estate has owned that property since 2011.
Okay. Any other questions for Robert?
No.
Bill, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Thank you, Robert.
We need to work on tightening
All right.
definition of documents.
Procedurally, I think I was at a point, where I had the board ask questions for anybody in the audience. Is that correct? I'd already gone through, there's nobody here wishing to speak in favor of the application, nobody opposed to the application. Board members, questions for anybody before I close the floor? All right, I'm going to close the floor, open it up for discussion.
I do not think there's sufficient documentation that it is a primary residence because of the conflicting addresses in the LG&E document.
I was all in favor of approving this thing. And then when that came to light, I'm in agreement. I am not convinced, maybe a month from now when he has a driver's license or he has something else that shows proof of residency. Again, I was ready to approve this thing, but
I have a
now I'm not.
question for staff. Is it appropriate for us or him to table this until he comes up with better documents?
Well, Tate, what,
It's all right to
okay?
give him an opportunity to change it to satisfy the application, but I'm fine with, putting it on the next docket,
So
table it, or
we can, do we need to ask the applicant whether we need to proceed with either tabling it or proceed with a vote?
give them the option.
Okay, let's reopen the floor. I need a motion to reopen the floor.
Motion to reopen.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Bill. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Floor's reopened. And it looks like, if you'd like to come forward, please. It looks like we're either ready to make a motion, which it doesn't sound like would be favorable, or we're ready, if you want to table it, so that we can get better documentation for proof of residency.
Sounds like it might be appropriate. We would be in favor of tabling this for another month or so to get the documentation you've requested.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions before I close the floor? Close the floor. Any further discussion among board members? We can go either way. They are open to table it, and I'm in agreement if that's the way we go. Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
Well, wait.
Oh, yep.
If there is no motion if they table it then, or is that a request to table it?
No, it's a request for us to table. It's a motion to
Okay,
table it.
she did request to tabling. Okay, good. All right.
Want to make the motion to table?
I'll make a motion to table.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. It's been tabled.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you. Okay.
Well, can I just have a brief discussion? So, Ryan, I think it would be helpful just administratively for your office to more clearly define acceptable documents that will make sure there's no misunderstandings by the time it gets to this venue. I mean, I understand the regulations are the regulations, and somebody can certainly come with questionable documents. But just to encourage applicants to kind of grease the skids, if you would, or to make sure things move smoothly, you may want to have some administrative rules in terms of the quality of the documents, is my only comments.
All right. All right. If you'd like to read the last one, please.